Hey everyone, it's me again, Hussain from sexuality, and this is the third episode. And today's guests, as you can see, is sexuality.
Thank you for having me.
And as you all know, Hawiyati aims to inspire the Bahraini youth to develop startups, businesses, entrepreneurs, or other influencers, celebrities. Now, let's have Hussain the microphone and let him talk to us about his business, his experience with entrepreneurship, when did he start, and what exactly is he doing.
Okay, so where do you want me to start?
Just tell me about what inspired you to dive into entrepreneurship from childhood. I guess.
Okay, yes, actually it is from childhood. So you see, I thank my father for this. My father has been quite the entrepreneur. He's been into many projects, and not of all that succeeded, but still, the passion is there. Like trying new things, doing new things every time, and adopting that from him. I guess I've always wanted to make things. Like I remember one of the times I was going on Alibaba, right, and I'm looking for wooden cutlery, and I was like to make like eco-friendly, reusable cutlery and sell them, like brand them, and then sell them. That was one of the things that I never ended up doing it, but like it's one of the things that I wanted to do. Even when I was much younger, I remember opening a Twitter account to sell electronics. So the account name was Electronic SH, like electronic sales. Yeah. So that was the name. I never did it as well. It was just like the ideas, just just wanting to do it. Yeah. So it's from my father. So
It's interesting about how you talked about the use of Twitter back then when Twitter was taking its space with Facebook and Instagram 5 to 6 years ago, I guess.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Hussain now after childhood. So what are you studying now in university? And I guess you're studying entrepreneurship at UOB, right?
Yes, that's right. Actually, it's a new major. We're the first batch. Yeah, it's a new major, 2020. And so far it's interesting. Just had one major subject, like entrepreneurship 401, and I can relate a lot of what I'm doing as an entrepreneur to what I'm learning, and learning the theoretical part and having to act on my own business. It's really helpful. It makes sense. Helps me get better grades for my exams and helps me perform better in my business.
So you're in your first year now, right?
Actually, I'm in my second year.
Okay, but since the new batch, so I'm glad that Bahrain is emphasizing entrepreneurship, teaching it to the Bahraini youth, and inspire them to build up businesses, learn about how to apply those skills in their social media page or whatever. And now we'll dive into social media and aspect of businesses. May you please explain to me about your businesses and what do you do exactly? Since I guess you have two businesses.
Let's just say one for now.
Okay, one for now.
Some are pending. So it goes to it's the most major business that I have. It's a clothing brand. I'd be happy to say that many people know about it, or at least heard about it or saw it somewhere. And it started almost a year ago with something else actually. It started the Draft 8. Draft 8 was supposedly a clothing brand that buys art from Bahraini artists, makes t-shirts out of it, and then sells it, and then there will be commission to the artists. So it's a way for me to make money while helping artists thrive. But then it didn't go well, so it very rapidly turned into a custom t-shirts business. Then after like almost a month or two with the custom t-shirts, we switched. I was on a phone call. It's like I always mention this phone call when I'm explaining how
I
Ghost
guess
Twitter
that's
started.
like a coincidence, I guess. That
Yes,
made you
actually, I was with my just me by myself in the car, calling my friend. I was, trying to drive sales, and I was like, "Hey, why are you not buying?" Even though I have started like almost over a month ago, and I still haven't seen you buy anything. And he was like, "The designs are basic. Like, yes, it's a customs business, but we as well had our own designs. Not much, maybe it was two because it was just started." So he told me that maybe you can call one of our friends and they can draw some type of mascot that you can put on your t-shirts. And that was the seed that helped a character grow, which is Ghost. And Ghost started with ThinkBoard. ThinkBoard came in with the rubber hose art style from the 1930s, Mickey Mouse, Cuphead,
classic to modern, and now it's trending.
Yeah.
Classic is always trending now nowadays.
That's true. That's true. And that happened by coincidence. It's just something that I like. And after a conversation with a couple of artists, I came up with Ghost. And it got me this Ghost with a catchphrase like Ghost with a something, Ghost with a guitar, Ghost with a skateboard, Ghost with a graffiti. Those are the designs that we already made. We've got a lot lined up and many requests for many Ghost with us. So Ghost with a dumbbell, Ghost with a money bag, Ghost with a
Interesting
basketball.
options and
Yeah.
choices.
So it's reflecting the people's interest. And if you might want me to add this little important detail about Ghost with a why Ghost?
Exactly, so what I was going to ask you next. Why did you choose Ghost and what inspired you to this brand? Since we are inspiring branding here and talking about branding, like why did you choose Ghost? And can you please explain how your visual identifier looks like and the idea behind the brand strategy?
Okay, so the Ghost, I really love Ghost. Like, I've got stickers everywhere on the cars. On
I
my
still remember the
phone.
first day I met you, you gave me the Ghost sticker.
Yeah,
I still have it.
I love those. I fell in love with Ghost.
It's like your personality at the end of the day, I guess. It's the brand reflects yourself, so
I would quite argue about that.
okay, so
Yeah, because you see, Ghost, you can't tell. You can't tell anything about Ghost. You can't tell his height, gender, sexuality.
Anonymous.
age. Yeah, like essentially the idea is that Ghost represents any person in the community, and that is reflected in our mission that states different yet alike. That we, as from any gender, sexuality, or age, we can do anything that we want. No matter like nobody can judge us. Not the way that you look could define who you are. Not the way you speak could define who you are. Not your color could define who you are.
no one's a mystery at the end of the day. So I like the idea that you implemented Ghost, because since the Ghost is anonymous and as we said, no identity, no face, no name, no number. So this is the point of brand names Ghost with. Interesting. Let me start by. So when did you start Ghost? Exactly which year? How long has it been?
It started mid-pandemic.
Okay. So
2021. Essentially, the clothing brand Draft 8 started around February, January. I'm not quite sure. It was 18th January, I think. Yeah, I believe so. And then 18th of March was the turnaround when I came up with the ThinkBoard, started contacting artists, and the actual first batch of t-shirts, it came out on the 26th of April.
Okay,
So we just passed the year.
I love how you said the pandemic, because did you notice that when the pandemic started, kids, adults, even middle-aged people started to do something, whether Instagram as a business, as a startup, like for me myself, I can say that, okay, I explored art and stuff, but as a business, it became easier and Instagram has allowed startups to support and show their platforms, showing home businesses and elaborated for them and help them. Can you please explain to me what social media platforms do you use to promote your business?
Okay, so mainly Instagram, and I'm not happy about that because it
You
is.
should expand more.
We are on TikTok.
Perfect.
Yeah, we have the Snapchat tag, we have the Twitter tag, but Instagram, that's where we display our products. But in my belief and to my knowledge and I really believe in TikTok. My father uses TikTok. Everyone, you can't even argue about it's for little kids.
Exactly. It started as Musical.ly, when it was just for dancing and music, but now it's for everything. Businesses, education, celebrities, branding. They can get gifts, they open lives, and exactly. But what do you use from these features on Instagram and TikTok? For example, Instagram, there's Reels and stuff. For Ghost, what do you use?
So for Ghost Twitter, Instagram, we mainly use pictures, but currently we're in the process of heavily transitioning into video and reels. This is what Instagram is all about right now. And it's also mentioned that Instagram is no longer a photo sharing app, but a video sharing app. And the same goes to TikTok. TikTok is a video sharing app. You can post pictures. You can post a picture if
but it won't make any sense because
sense.
it's a video sharing app with sounds and
So reels are really impactful, and the story tools actually, the polling, we use that really much.
to engage with customers. It's very important point I want to highlight. Yes.
So the way that since we mentioned it about the polls and questions on Instagram, I use those tools heavily. I rely on them before each design. So we ask the community, what would you like to see Ghost doing next? And after that, we get a bunch of suggestions. I minimize them to a maximum of 14, and trying to keep them under 10 if possible, just to make competition between them. Right? I see my view as a designer, which would be the most appropriate to be with Ghost. And then after I shortlist the suggestions, we make you can say versus series between each two.
Choose it.
Yeah, which one would you like best? And we come up with a final.
We'll see the insights exactly from the viewers and
the people actually vote for what they like. So, and it's also the way that it's self-marketing, because if people this is the thing about marketing. Right now, you make the product that people want. So if someone is interested with playing guitar and they suggest a guitar, and then there comes the Ghost to the guitar, they might buy a T-shirt. They'd be more likely to buy something they're interested in. And when buying something they're interested in, they're gonna wear it.
Exactly,
and
that's relate to them, and
yes.
at the end of the day, brand is nostalgic more than just a visual identifier and a logo.
Mm-hmm.
To have a strong branding, to connect to the customer's needs, believe in what they want and need, and connect to the emotion of the customer there. Just like how you said, when a guitarist wants something that is to his or her identity, he'll get something from you, for example, a T-shirt that has a musical instrument or something.
Yeah,
am I right or wrong?
That's right. That's absolutely right. And it goes through the concept of since I get from you that you want me to talk more about the branding aspect of Ghost with them. So our colors, it's just white and black. Just white and black.
It's a contrasting color.
Very high contrast, white and black. Simple,
that's
basic.
the first two colors the person would visualize when I say Ghost.
Yeah, that's true. Definitely the white, and then the black, it just adds contrast, you see?
Give elements. I think from what I recall, your logo has simple elements of the eyes.
Just the
Yes,
eyes,
just the eyes.
the gloves.
Very
and-
minimal.
Yeah, very minimal. It's nothing too complicated, easy to comprehend in the mind, easy to see, eye-soothing, and it makes me feel connected to it in some way. It's just maybe because I see it every single day of my life. I don't know about anyone who sees it at first sight. I would love to have the opportunity to see my brand for the first time and have to judge it hard so I could improve. But sadly, I cannot do that. For the branding material that we have, we made sure
Yes.
that
What do you use for your branding material collaterals? I'm sure you do packaging and friendly, sustainable packaging.
yes,
What other brand materials do you use besides packaging?
the packaging. Let's start with it.
Okay.
So the packaging itself, it's like a zipper bag. It's biodegradable.
Perfect.
I just like there were too many options on Alibaba, and I saw this biodegradable, and I myself I really care about the environment. Since I live in an island,
You live in Bahrain.
yeah, come on, you should love the environment if you live in
Go
Bahrain.
green, guys.
Go green. Yeah, I really support that. But going back to the branding, it's really simple. Just like I wish I had some examples that I could show, but it just has the logo. Goes to the underneath it, our Instagram and website. That's it, and it's a clear bag. And a clear bag, it's like a ghost bag because essentially a ghost is you can't see it. So that also sends a message. You can see the T-shirt through. Looks nice, looks beautiful. Makes you feel like that what you're getting is valuable. The way that it's packaged, like even when you
Has
go.
effort and you pay attention to the aesthetic details and stuff, which is what I believe is important craftsmanship.
Other than the packaging, you can see the tags on the t-shirts. The tags on the t-shirts, they're quite important. They have our logo, the size, and made in Bahrain. Looking to improve that, and the way to improve it is just by giving more information about the t-shirts, like how are you supposed to wash it, like yeah, how it's supposed to be dried, going through different types of washing, and it also depends on the print because when we first started, I used to do them alone.
So
Right.
you used to do the,
I used to print the t-shirts at my house, and I still operate in my house, but I no
What
longer
type of
print the
printer
t-shirts.
do you use?
It's not really a printer. It's a printing method. It's using a heat press. So you get vinyl, you cut it into a certain shape, and then you stack the colors. So first I'll put the black, and then I'll put the white over it. Yeah, but that really, I did not like it because the thing is, when you wash it, not in a proper way, like carelessly, like my mom, she just throws it.
I know, difficult.
Yeah,
Go
it's-
take the laundry.
Yeah, whatever said, like just put them in the dryer,
Oh,
really, really hot. So it's a heat press. It got glue applied to the t-shirt by heat. So when you apply more heat to it, it weakens that, and then it will wrinkle or
That's messy.
it'll just get messy. So we moved to screen printing. I believe the best screen printing in Bahrain that you can do in Bahrain. That's what we use. And also, like the branding, it's not just the things that you see. It's not just the logo that you see. It's not just the packaging that you see. It's not just the tag. But I really heavily believe it's the material. It's like it even goes further to when you wear the t-shirt, how
The
you feel
experience
about
of
it,
the
experience.
user,
Yeah.
the feedback of the customer when he shows the product, which is why a nice point you implemented about branding. It's advertising, marketing, and all those skills in one tree. I think can say this.
The thing you can do to build a brand, because what is a brand? Like, if you define a brand, it's not what you think about the brand that you have. It's not about like what you want other people to believe. Like, branding is the process of trying to deliver a message, to create a brand. And the brand is what other people think. Like, when I just say go Swida, what comes to your mind? Like, if I may ask you, like, you can answer.
Ghosts. I mean, I think of
The feelings.
the feeling of something dark, I guess.
Dark.
Something, why dark? Anonymous, because the ghost. So all these principles, I guess, from what you told me. So yeah, this interesting definition of a brand.
And I really believe that, because the way that what we do is, as people who make brands, we just help influence the people to think about something in a certain way. Like, if you'll see Nike, for example, Nike is the goddess name of sports, I guess. I'm not sure.
It is, maybe something like that.
Yeah, it's like a Greek goddess, and then that itself, it delivers a message. And then you have their slogan, just do it,
exactly.
right?
And the visual identifier is just a tick. But that tick is recognizable everywhere, just like Apple. And
Yes.
all the high-end brands we see nowadays.
The feeling when you see Nike, it's like energy.
And it's luxurious, and when you wear it, it also has a different meaning. When you see it in stores.
Yes.
Yes.
So one nice thing that I remember about Nike, I watched one commercial that they made, and that commercial, it's unexpected. It showed like a bunch of people, a lot of athletes, and those athletes, they were, like, for example, playing baseball, or maybe playing football, or maybe swimming, skateboarding, doing different things. And I really loved this commercial because it really links to me as an individual who has a brand, trying to deliver the message to people that, yo, go try something new. So in the commercial, there were these athletes.
It's always nice to think out of the box, especially in startups. When you said about differences, and no matter how your identity is, but everyone can still wear it and relate to them.
Yes.
This is a very important point. Just like how brands nowadays do Nike, Adidas, Reebok, not just athletic brands. Most brands.
Yeah, every brand. But like, I came up to Nike because of when these athletes, they were recorded, and all they did, literally all they did was fail. And while failing, they were actually laughing. Like, you never hit the ball in the baseball. Like, you never get to hit it. Whenever you run, you fall, you trip. Whenever you shoot, you miss. Whenever you swim, or whenever you're free running, you fall, you trip. And they had them all fail and still be happy about it. So it's like giving the message that again, go try something new. Like, it doesn't have to be perfect. Like Nike, we're Nike, we support you. That's like, even if you trip once or twice or 3 times, we're Nike, we're there for you. That's the thing that gets in your head. You want to go to the gym? You want to buy your new clothes? What comes to your mind? Let me get some Nikes. You want to go professional running?
Anywhere, anytime, exactly.
It's the message that gets buried down in the brain. Another thing about branding, other than sports, one of the biggest brands in the whole world, like, for me, of my current thoughts, I think it's the biggest brand ever, Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola.
Yes.
Ever since the 1930s, with the World War and how it started, look at how it's now evolving.
The thing about the branding
Now, the World Cup is near.
The World Cup, it's
And
like
it's
one of their main
exactly.
favorite things. And the thing, if I'll talk about Coca-Cola, if you want to learn about marketing or advertising, just go watch their ads, go learn
Go
from their
watch their
mistakes.
documentaries and stuff. Exactly.
That's going to be really helpful.
Reminded me of McDonald's documentary on Netflix.
I
You
haven't
watched
watched
it?
it. I have seen the big
Story
picture,
behind.
Yes, I've seen it. So, from a marketing aspect, you see Coca-Cola. It's really linked to your memories, and that's linked to neuromarketing. So whenever you have a Coca-Cola, it's gonna spark some certain areas in the brain that trigger
Subconscious.
memories. Yeah, it's subconscious. Actually, 90% of the decisions that we make every day, it's subconscious, and the left 10% are the conscious, and then we justify our subconscious actions.
True.
So there was I love stories, and I've been hearing a lot of stories when I was like doing my research. There was a blind testing for Pepsi and Coca-Cola. So when you
Major
taste-
competitors.
Yes, major competitors. I think in the 90s, if I'm not mistaken, like somewhere around 20, 30 years ago. Let's just not say a specific date because I'm pretty sure I'll get it wrong. I'm not good with
No
it.
problem. Just need to learn about the concept.
Yeah. So there's the blind taste. They removed the brands from the
From
cans.
the cans, yes.
And actually, what happened whenever the taste test happened, more than 50 or even 70%, if I'm not mistaken, they preferred Pepsi over Coca-Cola. So what Coca-Cola did was like, we don't taste better. Well, the first thing you'll be like, okay, let's change our formula, make something that tastes different, and they actually did, and they had many, many, many angry customers. They even made a taste test before implementing their new test, and they actually won over 50%. They tasted better than Pepsi, but in the blind taste test. But when they implemented it into the market, it was a fail. They lost millions. There were angry people all over the markets. They were hoarding the old Coca-Cola before the new taste came in. So really quickly, they just returned everything. In the blind tasting, they did it again, but this time with the original tastes, they had the brands shown. They were mentioned. What are you drinking before you drink it? And this is the fun thing. It's the same Pepsi and Coca-Cola, but then people prefer Coca-Cola. It's just because Coca-Cola, like, it's always about sharing. Like, you might remember that one of the most crucial campaigns that they had over 2,000, 4,000 names on their cans. Share a Coke with.
I remember the hashtag and the
Yeah.
names of people. It was very trending in the Arab world, Middle East, and internationally.
Yes.
And look at Coca-Cola now with all the new flavors, not just the typical Coke, raspberry, lime, etc. And this is why Coca-Cola is always the best. I don't drink soft drinks, so I'm out of this one. But yes, this is a strong example of how a brand should distinguish itself. Coca-Cola is a strong brand.
Mhm.
And who doesn't know Coca-Cola?
Come on, you see a Coca-Cola on every shelf.
True. So now from Coca-Cola to social media to TikTok, we should talk about people who are hesitant or who want to start a new business, but they're like, okay, I don't know business techniques, I don't know anything to do with branding, I don't know how to design a logo. What is your advice for people who want to start a business and they don't know what to do?
Okay,
What's next?
since you decided, chose the circumstances to someone who has an idea, you mean they have an idea, but they don't have the expertise to do all the branding, all the marketing, or managing their business, but they do have an idea, right?
Yes.
Okay, so
They have all the concepts and brand strategy, but they're hesitant to open the business and promote.
okay, so
Because they're scared to fail.
I'll just mention with someone with zero experience.
All
Okay, because that will cover all bases. So go talk to someone, go over to YouTube, go learn about it. First of all, I just want to make sure that do you believe in your idea? Do you love what you are thinking about? Do you think it has potential?
Or it's too mainstream.
Even if it's too mainstream, it doesn't matter if you believe enough. Like you're telling me that, come on, MySpace was trending at once, and it's still no longer one of the mainstream. It was the old Facebook, but no longer.
Remember Kik and all the other
These things, they were trending. So even if it's trending, you can do the same thing with your own twist to it, or make it even better, and go for it. So the thing is, first of all, you need the idea, because the most important thing is the idea, because you can't just go look on YouTube about your idea, especially if it's something new. But for a clothing brand, for me, I learned everything about my clothing brand on YouTube. Like, everything I learned, it was from YouTube. I'm really thankful that YouTube is there. You can learn all about business, like the business side. You can learn it. You can learn about marketing. You can learn about logo design. You can learn about all the different things that you need, the packaging and the logistics part. You can all figure it out from YouTube. And even if you don't want to do it, this is just an advice. Even if you like, okay, I have, for example, Hussain AlMukhtar, he's a graphic designer, for example, and I'll just let him do my thing.
Exactly.
I would still
design aspect, the logo design.
Yeah.
But I want to highlight now with Canva and Taylor brands, people can now do their logos online.
Mm-hmm.
They can just put their preferences and skills. But I believe that not just as a graphic designer, as a person, that's always better to have a human touch in a logo instead of a computerized artificial intelligence. Since artificial intelligence is taking over nowadays, especially the platforms.
Artificial intelligence is really awesome. One of my friend actually, he's a musician, and he has an album up on Spotify. His name is Ice Bats.
Alright, let's give him a shout out then.
Check Ice Bats on Spotify. Okay, so one of his album covers is actually AI generated, and it's so beautiful. Yes,
so didn't even
you can. It's awesome. AI has like.
I'm learning from you now, since I'm a musician too.
So it's a way you can just like album cover AI generator, and then you find something. So you mentioned that there's the AI in these procedures. So as I said, you can go to someone who's an actual graphic designer and do it, and I'm 100% sure that it's much better. And you know what's even better? If you understand a little bit about it, like you have to know the basic principles. Know your idea. Yeah, like just don't go to the designer and tell them
I don't know what to do. Do it for me.
That's possible, but when they do something, before you complain, ask them to explain to you what is each part of and each element of the logo that the graphic designer came up with. So that's on the like, go for someone who can help you. And if it's going to be from the business side, go to someone that you trust. Go to ask people. Go to YouTube and don't search. Don't search how to make a brand strategy. Don't search how to start a business. I want you to go and search, how did Coca-Cola start? How did Louis Vuitton start? How did Supreme start? These are the things that my search tab.
Go watch the documentaries, guys.
Yeah, the
TED Talks are very useful.
TED Talks are really useful. So just like learn from other people's own experience, because they already done most of the work for you. They did the failure part. They're just giving you free knowledge. And
so quick to fail then.
I love failure.
You learn.
I love failure. I love failure. I love failure. I can't stress this much. I love failure because it makes sure. For me, I make sure.
Nothing turns out perfect
when
or the second time.
There's no
perfect.
There's no perfect.
Exactly.
There's always something that's better. There's always something
practice
that's
better.
So that's a new one. See, practice makes better. So once I fail with something, I never fail again. I mean, fail less, right? And it's just like, if you look at it, failure is is not failure. Failure is just not succeeding. And actually, it's not succeeding. It's succeeding, but on a low level. That's how I wanted to say it. Succeeding on a low level. So every time you'll succeed even better. And back to the whole ideas. So, say for example, you just have an idea. You don't want to go on YouTube. I really advise it though. It's really important. You can take courses online like Udemy, One Masterclass, Coursera. All of those, you can pay a little amount and learn a lot.
Or free, I guess.
Some are free, yes.
You get to from Belgium universities.
Something I didn't mention as well for the learning process,
Which is
reading books. You can go with audio books. I don't.
I love them.
Personally, I don't
podcasts.
listen to podcasts. I do that sometimes. I'm just like trying
You're
to.
really just listen to a
just
podcast.
like. But whenever you want to listen to your own music, just listen to your own music. Have your own breaks, right? And don't overstress yourself. So.
The end of the day takes time, and nothing comes in one night.
It
So I
takes
believe
time,
that
definitely.
the more time you spend with something, the more the results will be effective.
So, say you just have an idea. You did a little bit of your research. We thank Bahrain for this opportunity. Lately, we've seen, I don't know if you've seen it. Have you seen Bebon?
Yes,
It's just like
fun. Jeffrey
Yes.
Collins.
Yeah.
Before we had Tamkeen, of course, we still have
Tamkeen, we still have it.
develop the business entrepreneurs. Thank you, Bahrain, for this opportunity, for providing the startups, whether people who are youth or adults or kids, to expand their talents, to share them to the community,
Yes.
whether local and also reach global.
Yeah.
I know people who started from Instagram shops and look at them now. They're having big shops and in malls and even internationally. So yes. And now we have the youth streets in Isa Town educational area, Sheikh Nasser, the Shara Shabab al-Bahrain.
Interesting.
Look at
Yeah.
how it's possible this way.
Bahrain is
And we have the Bahrain Youth Day.
Yeah. Bahrain, I'm really proud of Bahrain and how they support the youth and support entrepreneurs. You can see it. You can see it. I
Entrepreneurs,
definitely can see it.
talents, skilled people, everyone.
Everyone is skilled. Everyone has something.
Everyone has an identity at the end of the day, which is what how we get it.
Oh, awesome.
Now I know we've been talking about many things and we've got out of topic, but I just want someone, whether a person can get inspired by this and reach out and do it. It's never too late. Some people might be like, oh, I'm too old. Why am I doing it now? Or I wish I did it before. But now's the time, and the social media and everything, this will provide you.
There's nothing there. It's never late. It's never too old. I've seen people with massive ideas. There are some people that I can't really recall names, but I'm 100%, not even 99.9, I'm 100% sure that I met someone who started in a late age and they're thriving and succeeding.
Exactly, I know many people.
Aside from meeting them, I've seen them online. Just look at their stories. It's really impressive. It's really inspiring. And one last thing that I want to say, like, you started your business. Let's say you started your business. The return, it's not instant. You don't just. That's why I first mentioned an idea that you really believe in and love. Because it's going to be easier for you the other steps. So when you start a business, don't just expect all your friends to buy from you. Don't expect your all your
they're going to
family.
support you from the beginning.
Exactly.
But don't depend on them.
Don't depend on them.
Think of the market as a target audience, learner demographic.
That's really important. That's really important when even it goes into the branding. You'll have to understand who are you targeting and what fonts you have to use, the thickness of the lines,
all the
where
design
they're placed.
elements, and not
These
just
are really
design,
important.
branding.
But my main thing that I want to mention is don't stop. Literally, don't stop.
Don't give up.
Even if you're like losing money at first, the most thing that I always heard, like just the thing that it's the most thing that the usual people might hear is like, just go for it, just start it. But it's really little for the people who are not in the industry and want to start or have just started to listen to people who are like, keep on going, even if you're not making money right now, because it's a procedure. Just expect the first 2 years. Give yourself at least a year. Don't do it for the money. Just do it because you love it.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Do it
right. And then
for
you'll see the
yourself.
results. Because
You never know
yes,
what will happen.
you never know, and it takes time to build a brand image. Like to build a brand, it's relating with the people, and it takes time and time and time and time for something to be memorable. Coca-Cola didn't rise up in a day and night.
Exactly. And look, okay, Instagram can make you famous in one day or another, TikTok makes you viral, but this is just a trend or just for a specific period. All about what I'm asking is just never give up. Whether you're an artist, singer, writer, influencer, celebrity, you never get famous in one day. Even if you get famous, you might get famous, but you need to think of your audience, do better and better. Okay, be greedy, of course. I want to do best and best, but
Be greedy.
be greedy, but in a good way.
Be greedy in a good way. Yeah, be greedy for knowledge.
Yes.
Always try something new. That's something I love. I love finding things.
Inspired to aspire, from what they say. So, yes. And of course, we've reached the end of the episode.
Thank you.
You say it anytime. It's been a pleasure. And thank you so much for having this opportunity and for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. Actually, I'm really happy. You can see it on my face.
I know it shows. And please, I'll put the Instagram page below, and you will follow him and see more of his works.
Thank you.
And business. Best of luck, Saeed, in your future endeavors. And have a nice one.
You too.